Hi,
Okay.
I'm Dave Shipper, and I'm talking to Sofia Talvik, and she was our fourth finalist, I believe. I think you were number four, because this feels like the fourth interview I've given. So thank you very much for
Yeah, I think so.
submitting to the contest. I think you've probably found it because you and I know each other, right? I hosted you for a
Yes.
house concert on Bluffview Concerts.
Yes. And I've been bugging you ever since.
And you're almost booked
Take
for
me
this
back,
year's.
take me back.
Well, you're coming back, I think, next year, as long as we're
I
having.
am.
Yeah, I think we have you booked for next year.
Yes, I
Um,
know.
so, I like to start these conversations, Sophia, with the basic question is, how are you doing during the pandemic?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm married. I got my guy, so I'm not alone and I don't feel very isolated. I mean, we spend 24/7 together anyway, like when we're on tours and stuff. So it doesn't feel that different to me. I mean, I miss the shows, I miss the audience, but yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Um, Meanwhile, in Winnsboro, the one that we picked for the contest winner, that was written during the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yes. So I wrote that in this tiny town in Texas that's called Winnsboro, as the title implies. And it was one of the last shows that I did before my tour got shut down because of the pandemic. And it's very, very beautiful little town, pretty close to Dallas, up north in Texas. And very quaint with beautiful houses and trees, flowers, it was very idyllic. And being there was just so weird to sort of, open your phone and see all the news about the pandemic and stuff shutting down and people dying. And there we were in this perfect little place.
Hmm.
So, and I had a couple of hours before the show and I was sitting in my little RV, my little tour RV. And so I wrote that song.
Well, it's a beautiful song. Um,
Thank you.
And obviously, you were touching on the moment that you were in, surreal. Who would have thought what transpired over the next 2 or 3 months? All
I
your,
know. I know. I was booked for South by Southwest just about a week later, and we still thought that was going to happen, and then they canceled South by Southwest, and everyone was like, "Oh no, let's do it anyway!" And people were gathering and trying to plan like an unofficial South by Southwest, and it was all very exciting. And then, of course, the city shut everything down. So after that, everything was shut down.
Hmm. Well, you
Yeah.
obviously travel a lot. Like you were saying, you were going to be in South by Southwest. Where are you at today?
I'm in Berlin, Germany.
Berlin, okay.
Yeah,
And if I remember right, you have a house in Spain.
I do. I'm going there next week.
Okay, great. Now, with all this
Vacation
travel,
over.
with all
Yeah, I
this
have a.
travel, with all this travel, how do you find time for your songwriting? Is it a habit? Is it you set
It's
aside time, or?
it's very hard to find time to write songs, unfortunately. And I was thinking, like, I started out writing quite a lot of songs when the pandemic hit, and I had more time on my hands. But then, of course, time flies and you start doing all the other stuff that you never had time to do, like fixing stuff up around the house or, you know, just sleeping in. And so I do have a hard time finding time to write songs. I think that's one of the biggest problems with being on the road so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, and you've done a lot of songs, because I think I stopped over at Bandcamp just to count
Yeah.
how many offerings you have, and I think it's about 40 different offerings in Bandcamp. That
That might be
right?
true, yeah. But there's a lot of singles, so it's not like 40 full-length albums or anything.
Yeah. Now, I've heard you sing in Swedish, and I know you mainly sing in English. How many languages do you know?
Swedish, of course, because I'm Swedish. and English, because that's what we're speaking right now.
Right.
I do speak some German, and I'm trying to learn Spanish now that I have this little, as my relative called it, ruin in Spain. it's it's not as romantic as it sounds. It's really just like a construction site. But yeah, I'm trying to learn a little bit of Spanish, but and that's another thing that I thought I would have time to do more now with the pandemic and not being on the road, was to practice my languages. But I don't know, I guess I'm just lazy.
Ah, maybe maybe you find that doing live streaming is almost as much work as a gig sometimes.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. We do a lot of preparations for the streams as well. So because we're trying to get the best sound and picture and everything, so there's a lot of building up. We basically build up a whole studio to do it. So yeah, there's a lot of work going into that.
So with knowing all these languages, how does that affect your songwriting?
Uh, I don't know, really. I think of English as my second language. We start learning English when we're about 10 years old in Sweden, and and we have all the TV shows and movies with subtitles. So, like here in Germany, for example, everything is overdubbed to German, so they don't hear it the same way that we do. Um, so I don't think about it too much. Like sometimes maybe it's that you kind of well, I have to think about my grammar sometimes. I don't want to make mistakes when I write in a different language, you know. But sometimes I think it can help because you think of the words in a different way when they're not your mother tongue, maybe.
I have the same problem of trying to figure out what to say, and I only know one language. So don't worry too much about it. So with all your library, what's your favorite song that you ever wrote and why?
You know, you know, that is such a hard question because I mean, that kind of changes over time a
Mm.
lot, I think. You know, if it's my favorite song is almost my latest song, basically. But of course, then I have some older favorites as well. Um, I have a song on my album Big Sky Country that's called Give Me a Home, which is a song that I wrote. I had a friend, I have a friend. She's in California, and she's a singer-songwriter. And when she was touring her way through the States once, she posted this picture on Facebook of a buffalo, and she wrote, "Give me a home where the buffalo roam." And I saw that, I was like, wow, that is so beautiful. And being Swedish, I had no idea, you know, the connection of the words or whatever. And I was like, oh, you know, I was writing this song and like, it fits so well to my song. I should put it in my song. And I did. And then, and then after a while, I was like, I wonder if she came up with that. So I Googled, I found out it was Home on the Range.
Yeah.
And, but then I had already written the song. So I was like, well, you know, it's an old song. It might need some updating. So
Yeah, well, it's public domain, so you're not going after anybody there. That's a funny
yeah,
story.
I mean, it's just that little part of the lyrics. Like the song doesn't sound like Home on the Range in any other way. So
Well, you're not the first person who told me they picked up a line for a song based on a meme or something else that somebody else has posted on social media. So it happens, you know. Yeah, that's, I think, the songwriter mentality is you see something with different eyes, see a phrase differently than other people do.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Um, so who would you say are your influences in songwriting? Do you think you pattern after anybody? Do you admire somebody and say, this is my blank song?
I hope I don't pattern after anyone. I do have a lot of songwriters that I admire. Like, I mean, Nico Case is one of my big favorites, for example. Well, there's a lot of great songwriters. I think I was just talking about this the other day. I really like the album Southeastern by Jason Isbell. And I think he's a wonderful songwriter, and especially that album is a really great album. And then, but his other stuff is so much more like rock, and I don't know, that album really spoke to me, but his other stuff is not so much. Uh, but as long as it's a good song. I mean, I guess if all his albums were acoustic like that one, I would probably love them more. But yeah, there's a lot of great songwriters. Suzanne Vega, Amy Mann.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all inspiring. I mean, all music is inspiring, I think.
Sure. So when are you going to be back in the States? Are you thinking about doing your August tour yet, or?
If they will let me into the country. Right now, the borders are closed. So unless you are an American citizen, you're not allowed into the country. So the first week or weeks of my shows are canceled. I was supposed to start my fall tour on August 1st, but right now it looks like the borders will be closed to at least July 20th or something like that, and then you don't know if it's going to continue. And also it's hard to say what the situation is going to be like in the US with the corona, because it doesn't seem like you guys have like a real strategy to kind of
Oh, come on. We've flattened the curve. It's nice and high now.
right. It's going up.
It's going up. It's back to where it was at the top. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I really want to do the fall tour. I mean, I'm itching to do the fall tour. I want to go. I mean, I had a wonderful tour planned. I was going to start in Florida and then go up through the Midwest all the way up to Upper Peninsula, and and then up to the East Coast, all the way up to Maine. Had so many shows booked. I still have a lot of shows booked. Not all of them have canceled on me, but I mean, it all,
Yeah.
you just have to take it as it comes now. It's so hard to predict anything. So
Yeah, I think our house concert series is not going to happen in the fall. I never did get definite dates. I had commitments, and I think packing 40 people sitting next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, just isn't something I can really, hang my hat on yet for fall. So,
no, yeah.
yeah. Well, I think that covers most of my questions. Do you have any questions for us?
Mm, no, I'm just enjoying following you guys on Facebook and watching all the videos, and so
Well, like I
I'm
said,
trying to invite people to do it and share it when I can. So
Well, like I said, it's been just phenomenal, the amount of great entries like yourself. I think we have about 7 more to pick, and we made a little list recently, and there's probably 12 of the current songs that we have in there are 12 artists with good songs that we'd love to pick as finalists. So we already are getting to that part where it's already jamming in, and great new artists come in each week. So it's going to be fun.
great.
We could
Yeah.
easily have a festival with the 12 people who are going to be finalists, because they're all fantastic.
Well,
And
just say the word and I'll be there.
oh,
If
all
not,
right.
if not in real life, then at least via whatever stream or
Yeah,
whatever.
which the festival kind of talked about. Do we want to keep doing it, or do we want to come do some streams and organize something? And we might yet. We were kind of watching to see how it evolves. So
Yeah.
the steering committee is meeting usually about every other week or every 3 weeks to talk about it. So,
All right. Yeah.
all right. Well, it's been fun. It's been fun to talk to you, Sophia, because I see you all the time in the thing, and I type my little comments. But usually Jonas is reading those. I don't know if you ever get the chance to come back and read them.
I mean, when I do the streams, of course, I have to read the comments afterwards. But so Jonas sometimes replies as me or as himself. But yeah, usually it's I'm too busy and he's pretty busy too. So, but
Well,
I always enjoy to read them afterwards. They're still there. So
and I enjoyed the dinner and a song. That was fun. I have had other musicians post breakfast or lunch, and so I've watched
Ah.
them make breakfast or lunch. So that's been fun.
Yeah, I think for me, those were also my favorites because they were more relaxed and just like kind of as, whatever happened in the moment. But it's hard to get like the really good sound and stuff for those because you're running around and you just have your little phone or whatever to film with.
All right. Well, I'll let you get to sleep because it's late your time and it's afternoon my time, right?
Yes, it's 15 past 8.
Oh, it's early yet. You don't need to go to bed yet. You said you were
Bedtime.
sleeping late. I did enjoy the conversation, Sophia. We'll probably post
Yeah.
this in about 3 or 4 weeks. We're putting each one out like once a week. So
Yeah. All right.
so we're on number 2 this week, coming out with Jake Shane, and he was a conversation I had, and he was in Spain. So
Oh, all
yeah.
right. Well, just remind me when you're airing it, and I'll post it on my pages as well and stuff. So
All right. It's been
yeah,
fun, Sophia. I'm going to end the
yeah,
recording here.
yeah.
Oh, wait. In meeting for all. Cancel. I hit cancel. I'm going to stop recording first. Maybe I'm not doing that. Maybe I'm not here. I'm going to get my glasses back on so I can actually read what I'm doing. Okay. Stop.